Well, what's up everybody? Today I wanted to go over the top 10 self-help tips that I got from the book Stretch. Stretch is a book about using your resources more efficiently. We don't always need to be chasing more resources. And I wanted to go over 10 self-help tips that I think could benefit you from this book. Now the first tip is don't plan so much. You might be planning for a world that doesn't exist. And what the author means by this is sometimes we tend to plan way too much for things that aren't going to happen. We plan that we might get more money, and then we plan what we might do with that money. But maybe you don't need to plan so much. Maybe there's something you can do right now and you can succeed right now. You can start building that business. You don't need $1 million to grow your own business. You can grow it from limited resources. Tip number 2, you don't always need more resources to solve a problem. And that's like a constant theme throughout this book, is that people think that they need more money, but then what happens is they end up buying more stuff, which makes them need a higher paying job, and they just stay busy. So if you constantly stay busy to try and make more money, to buy more stuff that you don't need, then you're going to be busy and you're not going to be in a creative mindset to maybe achieve your dreams. Maybe you're working a job you don't like. So you need time to relax, and you need time to think and be creative. So don't always think you need more resources to succeed. Maybe you're not seeing a resource that you already have for a different use. You're looking at it just at its face value. And this leads me to tip number 3. Try to come up with other uses for more things in your life. And a story that's in this book is a study that was done on children. And children were asked to solve a problem, and they were like given materials inside of a box. And then another set of children were given materials, and then they were just given an empty box outside of the box. And the children that were given the materials outside of the box viewed the box as a resource that they could use. But the children that were providing the materials inside the box viewed the box as a box, and they just kind of like discarded it. So there's things like that. Just look at things around you. You know, maybe you're not looking at them a proper way. Maybe you're waiting to get a camera, and meanwhile you already have a camera on your phone, and you think you need this fancy camera, but you can start with your phone. So just think of other things in your life that you could have multiple uses for. Tip number 4, have higher expectations for yourselves and others. And if you have higher expectations, you just might meet them. And there's tons of studies in this book about how having higher expectations lead to better outcomes. And a good example is an interview. If an interviewer had higher expectations of an interviewee before the interview, then they spent time like explaining the job to the interviewee and why they should join the firm. And if they had lower expectations, then they just asked them grilling questions. So expectations do matter. Go into situations in your life and have higher expectations for yourself and for other people, and you just might meet them. And this is like kind of a positive mindset. Tip number 5, don't approach the challenges in your life as threats. And the reason this is because if you view something as a threat, then your mind becomes rigid and you don't problem solve. And if you think about this in your life, you've probably done this a bunch of times. Like if you don't think you have enough money, you just panic. You don't necessarily think about more ways to make money or things you could sell or people you could ask for money. You just view it as a threat and you shut down. So view more things in your life as problems to be solved, not threats. And tip number 6, the best ideas come from the people that have the most ideas. And the author, I think, attributes this to Daniel Kahneman. And so but I think that's true, right? Like you can't have the best ideas if you're not coming up with ideas every day. And again, I'll reference James Altucher as I always do. He talks about writing down 10 ideas a day. And I think that's true. You have to stretch your idea muscle in order to come up with more ideas and better ideas. Tip number 7 is let your mind wander sometimes. Let your mind wander sometimes. Change up your tough work with mindless work. And what he says here is that we all need our brains to rest sometimes. Some studies show that you come up with better ideas if you change out your mindful work or your hard work with mindless work. So you don't always have to be head down and busy all day. You can actually take a break and let your mind wander sometimes. Tip number 8 is try to be an outsider and talk to outsiders. And this is to help you get a better perspective and additional solutions. So maybe there's a problem in your life where you could hire a coach or something. Think about losing weight, hire a personal trainer or a nutritionist, or just anything in life where you can hire an outsider to get a different perspective. Because if you talk to people that are like you, then they're going to think like you. But if you talk to people that are in different fields than you, that are in a different stage of their life, then they can view things differently and probably come up with a better solution. Tip number 9, be grateful. People that are grateful make better use of their existing resources. And this is just according to a study. And the more grateful you are, think about things in your life like money or just things around you, just be grateful for them. And since you're grateful for them, you're happy about them, you're more likely to use them in different ways. And Tony Robbins speaks about this too. It's like where you're constantly chasing things, you're never going to be happy, but you're also like not going to want to use the things you're not grateful for because you're waiting for that material possession that you've been chasing or that money you've been chasing. Where if you're grateful for what you do have, you're more likely to spend it better or use it better. And the last tip is that if you are an introvert, avoid making big moves in your life because it could be hard to recover. And this is just where in a section where he talks about overstretching, like, don't stretch too far. Because he says that people that are introverted, like, it's hard for them to build their social circle. And if you can't build your social circle, then, it might be like harder to grow your business, grow personally, build relationships. So that's just something that I thought would be useful to all the introverts out there. So those are my 10 tips from the book Stretch. Make sure to check out my book summary to Stretch on this channel. And also make sure to check out my website. And the link will be in the description. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe.